This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark, and I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to another jam-packed edition of Can Crushers. Joining me from afar is the one, the only, the English professor, John. John, this is going to be action-packed, fully loaded, locked and loaded, down and dirty, the main event, whatever you want to say. We got a lot of shit to cover.
We have a lot to cover. There was a lot of wrestling, and a lot of it was really, really good. This was an enjoyable week of wrestling.
It really was. From Sunday until last night, it was unbelievable. But first, we'll do everything. How was your week? What'd you get into?
This week I watched, because I have a lot of downtime, that's just between you and me. I watched a lot of old interviews, and man, were they entertaining. I watched typed in Iron Sheik promo and just went down the list on YouTube and enjoyed myself. I don't want to sound like an old man again, but it was just one of those situations where in a minute and a half, we learn more from the Iron Sheik than we do 20 minutes of Seth Rollins rambling on and on. But I digress.
Yeah. I actually just watched the wrestling that was on this week. I didn't do any extra because there was so much. In my downtime, and I have a lot of downtime next week, and we'll get into that, I played a lot of video games this week. I played a lot of MLB The Show. I had to get back into my roots and play some MLB The Show. Right now I'm the Tampa Bay Rays, trying to give them their first World Series ring.
That's a sore subject, but go ahead.
It is, because you're a Yankees fan. Just trying to help them out, and it's baseball. I'm in about July of this year because I'm playing the whole season, everything. Every freaking game, and I'm doing okay. The roster's not. I'm going to struggle to make the playoffs.
Really? See, in real life, they're unstoppable right now.
Yeah, well, yeah. They're only playing 60 games.
Yeah. We went from the best record in baseball to hanging on to that 8th seed right now in a matter of 17 games.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, you're still looking at, the Tigers sneaking in because you guys are floundering so bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, in 162 games, the Yankees kind of turn it up towards the end and make a run for it. But
there's time.
20 games. 21 games, I think they have left. Yeah.
You're in Pittsburgh. My wife's a Pittsburgh fan. And then this is the last thing before we get on to wrestling. Out of those 21 games, how many more did the Pirates win?
7.
What? That's way too much love. No freaking way. They're bad.
They're so bad. Yeah.
No knock on your kids because I know you're coaching and everything. Your baseball team could beat the Pirates without a doubt.
They're rough, man. They're rough.
Yeah.
At least my kids would have the heart. They would play with heart for sure.
Good point. I don't think there's anyone with heart on the Pirates. Throw me under the bus. They're there for a paycheck.
Maybe. It's hard to know what is in someone's heart. I would think at that level, you're playing to win and you're giving 100% regardless. But who knows? You may be right. We usually do this, break kayfabe here. We usually do this on a Saturday night, but with the pay-per-view last night, we're up bright and early this morning.
Coffee.
So Yeah, it's coffee for you. Me too.
Well, I have Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah,
I know you probably have something way out of my budget, but okay.
I got a little crazy this morning, and I mixed a washed Tenango Guatemala with a natural Bella Vista Colombia. Mixed the two beans together. And I also mixed, for breakfast, Frankenberry and Blueberry. When, school restarts and September rolls around, it's pumpkin for everybody. For me, it's Monster cereals. That's when those cereals are back in stores, and I love mixing them.
Nice. Speaking of mixing, Chad is still mixing it up in Maine with animals. I did get a text earlier this week that he got something, and he's bringing the meats home, baby. He's excited.
He bagged something.
Yeah, he bagged something. He said maybe like 275, 300. If I had opened my text right now, but I have my notes opened and everything, but he bagged something. He'll be home for next week. We'll just put it at that.
Of what? A bear, a moose, an elk, what?
An animal.
An animal. It was an animal. Okay.
Yeah. So he was excited. That it actually came late in the week. It was like Thursday or Friday that he sent that. So he said he's had a few to drink when he's up there. So he listened to the show. He's better than Corporal Kirshner, he says.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. All right.
Outback Jack, then, I would say.
Yeah.
All right. John, this week is, as you said, full of stuff. We kind of have to mix it up a little bit. So I'll let you ponder about it. What do you think?
Well, do we want to hit them with the good stuff? Or do we want to leave them wanting more at the end?
Hit them with the good stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was just about to say that. Yeah. So I would say the good stuff, it was all pretty good, but I think the great stuff was mostly AEW. Wednesday's show was a pretty solid go-home show before a pay-per-view, and the pay-per-view was damn.
Damn is right. All right, let's do. We don't have to go deep into Wednesday's show because it was good, but as you said, it was a go-home show, so it led up to what was going to happen last night. Match by match, it was Santana and Ortiz against Best Friends. Is this the end? Is this the end of this rivalry? I thought we'd have some more to do with Sue and Sue's cars that have been destroyed.
Yeah, I love this feud. I don't think it's the end. It kind of left things up in the air. Just a good old-fashioned foreign object to end the match.
I love the street sweeper. I really do. I love that move. You know, I'm not big on some of the hoity-toity off the top rope, 17 guys have to be involved type of move. But the street sweeper looks like a new version of the Doomsday Device or the British Bulldogs stuff. So I like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I do too. This was a decent match. I like the fact that they fought before the bell sounded. It showed there's some really bad blood. I thought it got a little spotty during the match, though. Like, now we're moving here, now we're moving there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I thought they fought a little bit too long before the bell started. At some point, and I believe it was Remsburg, no disrespect, they hit everywhere in the arena, and then he's like, okay, guys, get back at, 3-4 minutes outside, and then warn them, guys, if you don't get in the ring, I'm going to disqualify. I think the referees have to have more balls in AEW to pull the trigger and say, match is out of the way. Get out. You guys are not listening to me. Just a little bit more.
I agree. And I think a lot of wrestling in general is just so much of, we all have to get all of our stuff in every portion of this entire place. It gets old after a while.
And we'll get to that come Saturday night. I do have a few things to bitch about. MJF and his lawyer, the lawyer locked himself in the room, and Wardlow has to beat down the door. This is setting up for his match later on against Moxley. Wardlow, you're seeing more Wardlow. You're seeing more Wardlow doing things now. This is leading somewhere, right?
I think so. I love the fact that he doesn't really seem to like the lawyer.
Not
we'll
at
see
all.
that later when he's pushing him towards the ring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's fun because you have this organization that all works for MJF, and maybe they all kind of hate their jobs because they hate this guy, you know?
Good point. Good point. Next up is Private Party and SCU against the Bucks and Jurassic Express. This match, whoever wins this match, the teams will face each other some point at All Out for maybe a ranking improvement or a title shot. Or there's way too many stipulations on these multi-team matches that sometimes they just don't describe them.
Yeah, I kind of liked this stipulation. I don't know, maybe I understood it better, but
I
it was
understood
just
it.
as you said.
No, I understood it. I'm just saying there's too much on the line when there's multi-team
Right.
thing. You know, there's sometimes 17 people in the ring at once, and somehow somebody's going to get a major title shot.
Yeah, and, you know, I would have rather have had the matches kind of determined for the pay-per-view. Just, I know it's old school and old-fashioned, but here's a tag team match at the pay-per-view. Here's a tag team match at the pay-per-view. For a teaser, we're giving you a no-reason 8-man tag team match on our go-home show. I'm okay with that rather than, well, whoever wins this faces each other, and the Bucks are already ranked higher than Jurassic Express. So what do they have to gain by winning this match? Jurassic Express has to gain, and they have to climb the ladder. But I'd have been okay had the match has already been set, and then this was just a fun match for no reason.
We see the Bucks with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, kind of just walk out after the match saying, hey, we'll see you Saturday. I like the teaser. Where are they going with this?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a heel turn in their future, but I do like the attitude. And they kind of need it. It's been a while now. They're still not champions. I don't know if they've had a title match yet.
I think they might have had one maybe like a year ago. But, yeah, nothing.
Yeah, but still, they're not in the title picture for sure.
No. Hager meets up with Orange Cassidy in the back, and he says, hey, Jericho wants you at ringside. Just a quick little spot, but you already know Hellfire and Brimstone's going to happen at some point when those two are out there. So, nice teaser.
Yep, that's about it.
Tully's in the back talking with FTR about winning the gauntlet, getting a title shot. Omega kind of shows up. Hangman shows up. They're just they're actually in the ring. They're just saying, hey, don't let them get in your head. Don't let them get in your head. And we kind of see something's going to happen. We talked about it last week without diving into it again. Just give us the Luger-Wyndham breakup. Just give it to us already.
That's what we said, yeah. But we see, like, things were a little different when the pay-per-view rolls around. This segment did a nice job of, like, dangling something in front of us for the twist that we'll see once the pay-per-view rolls around.
So Janela takes on Jericho. Out comes Freshly Squeezed. Chris wins easily defeating Janela. Yeah. Orange gets involved. A little bit of a bubbly gets, thrown around. I was really excited for the buildup of this. I really was.
I didn't expect a whole lot out of this. I really didn't. It kind of followed what I thought was going to happen. I didn't think I thought he would win, no question. I didn't think he would win as handily as he did. I thought they would kind of build up the drama a little bit where they really make you believe Janela was going to pull something out. But he just kind of ran the table on him from the get-go.
Yeah. Sammy comes out with his note cards during the break. I will mention it every show because I love the note cards. This turns into not a broken rules, a break. I forget what they called the match, but if Hardy loses, he put his career on the line.
Yeah, it was essentially a last man standing match, but they gave it some other name to have to do with Matt Hardy's broken spirit or whatever.
Yeah. Team Taz comes out, and they talk about winning the Casino Royale. Nobody can say it correctly. Starting Wednesday.
Just pick one.
Right, and it carries over to Saturday. Spoiler, I have a lot to bitch about the commentary on Saturday. Archer and Roberts come out. The Kingston clan comes out. Tully and Spears go. This is just building up for a battle royal. And I don't know if there's as much into this year's battle royal as it was last year's. Are we going to get a big surprise? That's all I'm asking right now. Thunder.
I don't think they. No, I'm sorry. I didn't think they led us to believe that. I didn't think they led us to believe there was a huge surprise. I just was expecting a battle royal with a lot of their top guys. I wasn't expecting anything major.
See, when they pull the Joker out, I mean, last year's Joker was Hangman. Really wasn't a surprise. But to see him come out, there was some other randoms involved. That all right, whatever. I wonder. This is their Royal Rumble in essence, and during the Royal Rumble, everybody, the Iron Sheik showed up 20 years after his prime. You always have somebody come in and get thrown right back. In those stupid spots for the Royal Rumble, I live for. So if this is going to be their Royal Rumble, I want to see anybody, Thunderfoot, come out and do it.
Wow. Yeah.
A match of the night for me, I loved Rosa and Deeb. Man, I have been on, and I will continue waving the flag that I have been a Rosa fan for way back, and I've told everybody on the show, anybody I meet, you got to watch this gal, you got to watch this chick, whatever, This was a great match. A lot of people don't know who Deeb is. They now know who Rosa is. Deeb was a trainer. Deeb has been in wrestling for a long time. This was phenomenal. It showcased Rosa perfectly.
I agree. I was going to ask you, had you heard of Deeb before Wednesday night?
Yeah.
You knew she was?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had never seen her. She's really good. 15 years in the business, a trainer, as you said. When they mentioned that, I thought to myself, okay, Thunder Rosa's got 5 or 6 years and Deeb has twice as long or more. And I thought, how am I supposed to believe Thunder Rosa can beat her? But they did it. They made me believe it. And there was that finishing move she did looked kind of dangerous. Like the back of Deeb's neck came down on Rosa's knee, if I remember correctly. And I was like, well, there you go. That's your finish. That happens to a human being.
They're done.
The lights probably go out. So great competitive match every step of the way. And then boom, you get that one big move at the end that can put somebody out. Really, really good match. This may be on my short list for the year. I thought it was that good.
That match, the Deeb Rosa match.
I thought it was that good. And I think given an opportunity at a pay-per-view, they really put on a great show.
Wow. All right. I'll give you that. I'm not disrespecting anything. I will give you that. Big Swole says she's going to fight Britt at her work, and it's going to be a tooth-to-tail match. And, John, it was announced on Wednesday night that it was during the buy-in. Okay? I'll ruin this already. The fans went apeshit and tweeted, text, called, emailed, snail-mailed, drove to Tony Khan's house and said, this has been a feud for, Britt got hurt in March, I think, right?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a 5-6 month storyline. How can you put something that big, in no disrespect to the buy-in, but it is just that. How can you put something that has been this long on a buy-in? So Khan changed it. He put it on the main show. Good.
Wow.
Good. You did not know that?
I didn't know. Wow. Power to the people. Good job, guys.
So
I agree. Yeah, the buy-in was okay. We'll get to that. But I certainly think those women deserve to be on the pay-per-view itself.
Yeah. This was a great teaser. And then we get the main event. The lawyer, Mark Sterling, comes out with Wardlow, and he's going to take on Jon Moxley. I liked it. I did. It did what it needed to do. It did. I just think this should have been a 3 to 4 minute type of end it, and then a big fight happened or something. He dicked with him for about 10 minutes before they actually started having a match.
Yeah.
It was too long.
Yeah, this reminded me of, and they may have even said this on commentary, Jerry Lawler and Andy Kaufman, where they dicked around for however long before the match ever started, with Andy Kaufman making fun of the fans. But once it started, once Lawler's like, get in here, I'll give you a free shot. And he got him in a headlock. He got Lawler in a headlock. Lawler suplexed him, pile drive, and the pile driver was illegal on that particular street in Memphis or whatever.
Right.
Match was over. And that was it. That's all we really needed to see. I would have liked something like that. He messed with them a little too long. I get, like, I'll give you a free punch, I'll give you a free headlock. I didn't need both of those things. One of those things. I'll give you a free shot. You got your free shot. Boom. Kick them. Paradigm shift, and then
call it a night.
It could have been a little quicker. Call it a night. What happened afterwards, I'd have been okay with that even taking longer to really build up the suspense for the pay-per-view. The thing with the lawyer could have just been in and out. I like the stuff beforehand. He's going the wrong way, and Wardlow grabs him and throws him towards the ring, and I love all that. In the ring, you could have been done much sooner.
Yeah. More suspense to see if Moxley isn't going to be able to make it to the show. Have Wardlow legit lay some waste to him. Yeah. But just a couple tweaks. It was good though. It was a good go home show. One of the best compared to the other company, for sure.
Right. For sure.
So now we're shifting gears and we're heading to All Out. AEW on Friday and Saturday just promoted the hell out of it. We went to another escape room. I'll pull the curtain down real quick. I kind of forgot that it was starting at 12:30 Wednesday night to just do pre-shows and commentary and all that. And you actually said, hey, the buy-in was great. And I'm like, wait, what? I thought it only started at 7 because I got home at 6:45. Here it was a TNT special. Yeah,
I said buy-in, but I meant like the teaser that was on TNT, and that was really fun too. They didn't give us any matches. In fact, when I told you you didn't miss anything on it, really, they threw those same teasers on the pay-per-view itself, like MJF's big promo about you don't know how to play music anymore, and people want a new tune. That whole thing that was on that teaser. It was kind of like when you tuned into the pay-per-view channel back in the day.
Yep.
And SummerSlam was coming up or whatever, and Mean Gene was on a loop 24/7. It was a half-hour show. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Just a recap of a lot of things. It was still fun to watch, though.
So we get 2 matches actually during the buy-in. Serpentico with Luther is going to take on Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss. I don't know. This was rough. Rough is the word I'll use.
Yeah, it was okay. It was an appetizer before the main course started.
Yeah. Janela gets the win.
Cheese sticks, fried mozzarella,
Yeah, it's always good. Mozzarella's always great.
Yeah.
Serpentico just telegraphed some of his moves, and I'm not bashing them at all, bantering. I'm not bashing them at all, but you saw Janela kind of, as he was laying hurt with my air quotes, to say, do it again. You just saw, because he stood on the top rope making coffee.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then he just got down.
Yeah. So
I didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
Whatever. It's fine. Next matchup was Private Party against Dark Order's Silver and Reynolds. I love me some Dark Order, and I will always say this, but I just don't understand why they come out without their masks. That really pisses me off.
I don't get it either. I am 100% with you. Yeah. And it's not like, again, we've said this, it's not like they're putting them on later to create confusion, mass confusion or mass chaos, whatever it was called. yeah, I don't get it. They show up without him and then put him on before the match starts. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Private Party is super athletic. They're just not my style. I will say this, and this will probably make Ashley Ludwin think, wow, Mark's actually getting a backbone here. I think I like Private Party less than the Young Bucks right now, because the Young Bucks at least are very fluent with their stuff. Private Party is Ricochet coming up from NXT, continuing with the cartwheels, making this big spot for an elbow drop.
Yeah, when I first saw them, not when they debuted, because Lord knows they've got years in the business, I'm sure. But when I first saw them, I really wanted to like them because they reminded me a little bit of the fraternity.
Right.
The look and
the rope, the cups, yeah.
Yeah, yep, the cups. It's just, yeah, I agree. They're not exactly my style. And the Young Bucks have kind of grounded themselves a little bit. I'm with you. I'm actually enjoying the Young Bucks a little bit. Not in a Private Party as much as I thought I would be when I first saw them.
Yeah. Like I said, though, super athletic. They can do shit that we could never think about.
They really are.
Yeah.
They really are. And I tell you, I like the Dark Orders guys.
I love them. I told you.
But not just the shtick that they do, but like the low to the ground wrestling, the double teaming, and yeah, I like that. I dig those guys.
So we get the main card, and instantly we have Britt Baker against Big Swole. Big Swole shows up to the dentist's office, and Reba Rebel is the secretary. She gets beat to hell right off the bat. Swole's rolling around looking for Britt, and then you kind of have a pan, and I thought we were going to completely get, and we kind of do, we get devious Britt Yankum for a minute. You know, she has just switched the gear of being dastardly. I love this. And I bet you a lot of people hated it compared to, because it was AEW's, so to speak, a cinematic match. Man, this was great. This was unbelievable. Britt has 2 diplomas hanging up, and we need to talk about both of them. They focused on the pit one real quick and bashed over her head. And then the other one I'll just pull up right now. Why punch her through the diploma where you're going to cut yourself punching the diploma? Yeah. Spin it around and hit her with her, or punch her that way or whatever. But
punch her, then hit her with it. Do both. Yeah. It was cool though. It looked cool.
It was unbelievable.
It was like a cartoon thing.
It was great.
You know, cartoon thing where like you look at the picture of the gun, the drawing of the gun, and the gun shoots you, kind of thing. Like almost like gets shot by Bugs Bunny from a drawing. Yeah, it was like that. Why not punch her through the diploma? I'll say this. Okay, we're living in some trying times right now, but we'll get through them. Reba is at the front desk wearing a mask. Big Swole comes in without a mask. All she said was, "Do you have an appointment? What's your name?" And she goes, "Swole. Big Swole, ho." Like, holy cow, that's not nice. And the whole thing, she's like, you know, calling her a bitch and stuff. Like, just, it's not. And then she attacks the lady at the front desk, Reba, just trying to do her job.
That's it.
Craziness in that office. We talked about how you said, like, this just reminds me of us. And maybe that's why we loved it so much. Because if Mark and I, and then some other guys in school, if we found a corner of a room somewhere where we thought no one could see us, it was on.
It really was.
I said this reminded us. I got to tell this quick story of playing tennis in high school. Now, Mark is great with directions. I get lost walking around the block. I remember the softball fields, but where were the tennis courts in the high school? Like, how did you get there?
You left from the gymnasium side, okay, where the circle is, okay, and then you would walk past what is the weight room and the wrestling room up into directly across where the football field is. So it's the corner of the woods, more or less, of the school property. Okay, go ahead.
Right. So for gym, I don't know, there was a period where we played tennis when it was nice out, but some of us would sneak into the woods and start these wars. And I don't know if you were there for this, but there was a low-hanging limb on a tree, and Josh Quattrone got me to chase him through the woods to this tree, and he jumped up, grabbed the limb, and yanked it down just as I was directly under it. And the limb, like, hit me in the scalp, and I was down. And then there was this other, like, just thin branch or stump or whatever hanging or protruding out of the ground. And Mark found, like, a bunch of twigs shaped kind of like arrows and, kind of wrapped those arrows around this bendable stump and was shooting torpedoes. It was nonsense when we should have been playing tennis.
We always got the talk from our gym teacher anyway. I don't know why she took us back more than once. First of all, because we got there and we would play tennis for 45 seconds, and she would delegate where you had to go. There was 2 courts that were nowhere near the woods. So if the ball would happen to go out, you just go get it. She would put us on the woods court anyway. Somebody would serve it over, and then it was like Kirk Gibson hitting the home run off of Dennis Eckersley in the bottom of the 9th, and whoa! Well, you got to go find that ball. That's the only ball we got. And our whole court would, not just one person, our whole court would unload, and we were gone for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Maybe she wanted to get rid of us. Maybe she knew.
And then the next time we would walk out, she's like, all right, none of that funny business that you guys did last time. Play tennis. So it might have lasted a minute and a half the next time. Wham! Joe Carter into the stands.
Off of Mitch Williams.
Yeah.
So Big Swole and Britt Baker. This was a lot of fun, like you said. They fought everywhere. I like how she sneaks up. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The DDT on top of the side-by-side was a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
I mean, me and you probably would have broke through the roof. Big Swole and Britt weigh, combined as much as one of us weigh.
Right.
But I was legit worried, thinking, man, I hope they did something, because those, they're corrugated plastic or whatever, and I'm like, man, I hope this doesn't come tumbling down. And the DDT on top of that kind of had me worried.
Yeah, they worked hard. It seems like they worked stiff. This was a lot of fun. Like I said, I liked the way Britt sneaked up on her, like I think she had her crutch.
Yeah.
She was kind of like taking, small, quiet steps, and Swole was like, where you at, bitch? And then boom from behind. And Sylvan had a really hard time watching this match because they tried to pull each other's teeth out. And then Britt had a syringe that I think Reba brought her. As the assistant, that's what you should do.
Right.
Great stuff. Just so cheeky and fun. And
I don't think this is over, though. I don't think this is over yet.
No, I don't think so either.
So I can't wait to see.
And she Swole reversed the needle into Britt's leg. Man, holy cow. I don't know how they did that. I don't know how. Obviously, they did it. It was right there. But, I don't know how they brought themselves to do it. That's dangerous.
We said Britt needs to bring it. She was trying to first sign by AEW. She needs to bring it, come back huge from this injury. She brought it. She freaking brought it. So, Swole gets the win. Next matchup is Jurassic Express against the Bucks. And I said, I'm a Bucks fan with this chip on their shoulder. This does get a little out of hand for me. Jungle Boy takes 3 finishers, kicks out, has to take something else, a torpedo triangle tech finisher, whatever the hell it's called. And then it was a double super kick. And what the Undertaker said, and I want to make sure I get this in, what's it going to take now? When Jungle Boy gets beat by a body slam from Joey Janela in 2 weeks, how does that sell this match?
Yeah. I agree. I thought it was fine. I could have done with 5 fewer minutes, some fewer spots. I wish Jurassic Express would kind of find, we say shtick a lot, but sort of find who they are and what they do. I know I'm old. I get it, guys. I think there's an opportunity here for an Andre the Giant, Jimmy Snuka type of team. And I'd be okay with that, with the high-flying stuff from the little guy. The big guy comes in there, cleans house. And he's a great athlete, so I don't mind him doing some of the flips and moonsaults that he can do. It's incredible a guy that size can do that. The one thing that stands out that bothers me, Mark, when I wasn't watching wrestling for a while, and then I started watching it again, and I remember texting you, I'm like, what is with the slap? And you said, they don't stomp their feet, they don't jump anymore, that's done. Now they slap their thighs for sound effects. And I was like, fans are okay with this? It's too much. It's so blatantly obvious. I don't need the sound effect. I was thinking, who did it well? Kurt Hennig comes to mind. The Raging Bull, the Road Warriors, they made it look like they were just punching the shit out of you. They didn't stomp their feet. They didn't jump. They sure as shit did not slap their thighs. Just make it look like you're sinking some fists into them. But the thigh slap you see a mile away, and it's not believable. It just isn't believable.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The match was all right. The match was all right. Predictable winners, I think. And again, we alluded to the Bucks' attitude, kind of a new attitude, and we saw that a little bit here too.
Yeah, and we see it later on again too. Yeah. Next up is a 21-man casino battle royale. Anybody and their brother are in this match. We do get a surprise in it, which kind of shocked me. JR and Jake Hager need to go on a date or something, because it is just way too... Jake Hager walks through the picture and we hear it's JR and Ron Simmons all over again, where he is from Florida State.
He's an All-American!
Yeah, all right. On the same thing, Hager can be good. He's got a great look. But when he's in the ring, he looks like he's looking at left field. He looked lost in this match most of the time, and it was during the time that JR was just pumping glory into him.
Yeah, he's kind of a lumbering guy. I wish he would kind of stand up straight a little bit. I know this is a weird thing to say, but stand up straight a little bit and be more of an imposing figure, like some of the other big guys that were in the Battle Royal.
Yeah, spoiler, we both got this right. We both picked Archer last week, and he comes out and he pretty much lays waste to people. This is where I start hearing the announcers. Tony calls it Memorial Day. Well, it's Labor Day. I don't know. I have to say I feel for Matt Sydal. I really do feel for Matt Sydal. It's a bad first impression. That's going to be... It's already on the internet. It was on the internet 30 seconds after. Do you do that high of a spot as soon as you come in? And you noticed everybody afterwards were kind of a little wonky about the ropes. It happens. I'm not throwing it. It was a complete whatever. It was, the ropes were wet. The humidity was a 9,000 degree humidity down there last night. I feel for Matt Sydal, because this is going to run all the time now, and that's what you're going to think of when he comes into AEW. So I feel for him.
Yeah, that's a great point. And to your previous point, the commentary, it was very fly by the seat of its pants. They were searching for names at times. They were searching for words. He said Memorial Day. He also said, and this is big, Mark, he said Monday night.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that? How do you do that? I think one time when he was brand new to WCW, when he jumped ship, Mean Gene started like the R in Raw before he said Nitro. You could tell he wanted to, but that's rough. And then he said, well, I mean Wednesday night. Well, no shit you mean Wednesday night, but you said Monday night.
Right.
That was rough. And you and I were talking about this, and not to get too far ahead. I want to talk about this Battle Royal because I enjoyed it. But, one guy does a move, and according to Excalibur, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I don't speak Japanese, but it's, it's a Kobayashi, who is the hot dog eater, I think.
Right.
Yeah. But then somebody else does it, and it's a Masahiro Tanaka.
Right.
We get it. You're wrestling. I rip on the WWE guys for never calling the match. Excalibur, you call a little too much. He kicked the guy.
Yeah.
Fucking kicked the guy. Just call it that. That's it. The Battle Royal was a lot of fun. Very quickly, the rules stated that you picked a suit, and that, out of like a deck of cards, spades, hearts, diamonds, whatever. You pick a suit, and everybody that picked that suit comes out at once. So when you said earlier, Mark, this was their version of a Royal Rumble, it kind of was. A group starts, then another group, then another group, then another group. And you have your 4 suits, and the last guy in by himself was the wild card.
Yeah. And who was the last guy in? Why don't I have this written down? Oh, Matt Sydal was the Joker. Duh. Yeah. Duh. Yeah. Matt Sydal.
I knew we just talked about him.
Matt Sydal was a Joker. That was I think the Joker from, I don't know, AEW pull the wool over my eyes next year is going to be their big surprise all the time. Having somebody pop in like this is cool. It's their Iron Sheik, as I said off air, coming in. So, yeah.
One other thing I want to say about this Battle Royal, it bothered me how much some guys worked on the ropes, particularly you see like the humidity and everything. The ropes may have been a little damp, but it's a Battle Royal. You don't want to be eliminated. Like, I know that's your thing, working on the, jumping off the top ropes, but when we watched Battle Royals as kids, even the high flyers had to change their game in a Battle Royal because they understood a high flying move can send you flying over the top rope. But you see like the Lucha Brothers, they're like climbing over the top rope to choke the guy hanging off. Why take that risk?
Right.
You're not gaining anything. You are nearly eliminating yourself to administer a choke. Jump on the guy's back and choke him or something. There are other ways to choke a guy. And I get you're building up suspense and drama. Oh, look, I'm hanging from the ropes. But it doesn't make sense from the standpoint of if you want to win this thing, don't 3/4 eliminate yourself.
Well, that brings up a great point because you brought up, as we were texting last night, that Eddie Kingston went under the ropes to attack Archer, but then he actually sat on the top rope, so that kind of puts him on that top rope perspective that, okay, he is touched to where he needs a touch to be eliminated, and that's why Archer just throwing him into everybody ends up being the winner.
The only thing I'll say to that is something similar happened in a Royal Rumble years ago where Rick Martel was climbing the ropes and the British Bulldog shook them and he fell down and got crotched on the ring post. And then the Bulldog clotheslined him off the turnbuckles and he fell down and was eliminated. I get that. I would have preferred Eddie Kingston fall the other way, like somehow get knocked over, because then he physically went over a series of ropes. But to fall on the same side he went under is what kind of, even though he jumped from the top, is what bugged me a little bit. I would rather he get pushed over the other side of the ropes. But whatever. The right guy won this match.
I agree. And I'll say it right now. I sent a text to you instantly after this. I said, this kind of ruins the main event now because Archer against Moxley is a battle. I don't know how they could sell us Archer against MJF.
Right. And that's what I said to you, and we kind of disagreed on that a little bit. At least way back when, WWE saved the Royal Rumble for last. So when Bret Hart beats Razor Ramon, you know it's Bret Hart against one of 30 other guys, but you don't know as opposed to Yokozuna winning first the Royal Rumble, and then, well, is he going to wrestle Razor or Brett? Well, you know he's not going to wrestle Razor because they're both heels, so it's going to be Brett. They would put the Royal Rumble on last. You said this kind of isn't the same thing. That this Battle Royal is not being sold like the Royal Rumble is sold. And I think you're right. After giving it some thought, this was just a Battle Royal in the middle of a card rather than the big thing at the end of the card.
Yeah, and you get a title shot at some point. It's a guaranteed title shot, but it's not the next pay-per-view, or it's not, it's a while down the road.
Right.
So.
Right.
Next matchup was super scary. Unbelievable. I thought we had, and I'm not going to pull punches, I thought we had a death. I really did. Sammy Guevara against Matt Hardy. Back on the football field, and this is, again, there's no count-outs. No shit. Where are you going to get counted out on a football field? It was minutes into the match. They head up on the scissor lift, and if you haven't seen this spot, guys, when you watch it, proceed with caution. Really proceed with caution.
God, it's hard to watch.
Hardy, his middle of the back and lower back and butt go through the table, but his shoulders and head just crack off the floor.
Oh, God.
Unbelievable. The match gets stopped.
It should have been stopped. Yeah.
I don't know. Hardy just says, yes, he's good to go. And after, sitting with the announcers for a while, you see that he is not right. And then, John, I know you don't have Twitter or anything. His wife gets on Twitter and said, this shouldn't have continued. What the hell? More or less. That he wasn't right.
I agree.
You saw him climbing, then they pushed this match then. They just, all right, here's where you guys are going to end it. Go and throw Sammy through the stage. How do you sell that Hardy, this was a broken fight or whatever, street fight. Hardy lost. He had to leave AEW. Hardy lost in 30 seconds. So What do you do with him then?
Man, this was hard to watch. It should have been stopped. It's pro wrestling. Ric Flair lost a retirement match. Macho Man lost a retirement match. They wrestled each other later after that. So neither one retired. Let's be serious. He didn't have to retire. There'd be a way to bring him back. It should have been stopped. That, to me, it reminded me of, we talked about Stone Cold and Owen Hart, and then we talked about Tommaso Ciampa's injury. It was that scary. There was a point he tried to continue, and Mark, you and I were talking, and I said to you, he just fell. And he was walking. He was trying to walk, and just his knees gave out under him, and boom, he hit his head again.
Yeah.
He just free fell to the floor like he fainted and whacked his head again. I can't believe they got up and finished this, and not just finished it, but climbed, another scaffolding or whatever the hell it was. This was a bad idea. No amount of explanation that he got checked out and was okay, so the match continued. This was not exactly but this was like Stone Cold bleeding somehow. He got cut in the first minute against Kane, and it was the first blood match. And Jim Ross well, they're not going to stop it for that. I talked to the referee, and he said, it's got to be more than a nosebleed or a cut on your arm. You got to be gushing blood. Yeah, what's the level of blood that'll stop this match? What's the level of a count that stops this match? Aubrey gives a signal. Medical personnel come out. Should have been over. It should have been over right there.
Yeah.
In terms of storyline, it gives Guevara an out, though, right?
It does.
Hey, I had to be a minute into it. It's bullshit that we had to restart. But from a behind-the-scenes thing, should not have continued.
Bad. John, this next match was my match of the night. By far. Technically wise, I love this match. These gals could have had another hour. And Sheeta against Rosa. The downfall is Excalibur gave the results away as he was introducing them. He says, Sheeta will defend the title. Challenge Rosa in this match, and I'm like, did I think Rosa was going to win? In my heart of hearts, no. Did I want her to win to see how these promotions can work together? I would have loved it. It's not going to happen. It's still a money thing. Come on, let's be real. This was great. This was an amazing match. They both brought it. I love this match. This is my top. This is on my short list right now.
Same here. This was really good. For me, it's between this match and the tag team title match. I thought both were really, really good, but we'll talk about this one now. Good mat wrestling, good chain wrestling, good trash talking by Thunder Rosa. By the way, Hikaru Shida spoke Spanish to her at the beginning when they translated at the bottom. She said, "I will win."
I know.
That was Spanish that she was speaking. Oh, because your name's Martinez. Right. Of course. Who am I talking to? Very, very good match. Told a great story of two women determined to win who are both technically sound. I think the commentators did a nice job here of talking about the Japanese striking style versus the Lucha Libre style combined with, a basic American mat wrestling style. Really good all the way around. Decisive winner at the end. I was asking myself what this does to Thunder Rosa because she talked a game coming into this and then got beat cleanly.
I don't think it does anything. I really don't. I really don't. Because she's also the Tokyo Joshi Snow Princess champion as well. Yeah.
And I asked you about that. You said she fight whether she gets treated like a princess as long as she's champion. And you said no, it means she fights other princesses. So she fights the Princess of Wales and stuff like that?
Yeah, Ariel, the one from Frozen. Yeah, all those princesses, yeah.
Wow. Well, that's got to be easy for her then, right? I mean, they're not tough ladies.
They have superpowers.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. We're dicks.
You don't think you don't think it taints her or tarnishes her
I don't.
NWA title?
I don't at all. Yeah, I don't. The next little segment I want to talk about briefly, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, they're getting married. It's going to be live on Dynamite. He's going to announce the best man Wednesday night. But it's at the end that they pull a slap in the face to WWE. WWE says no more third-party thing. People can't have wrestling Twitch names, this, that, and the other. So Kip Sabian says, with his card, hey, go up and watch my Twitch, whatever the hell it's got. I didn't write it down, but Kip Sabian at Twitch.com, and we'll do all this stuff for you. That's why I don't know if you caught that, but there was a big pop when he held the sign up. It was because AEW slapping them in the face again.
Yep. I love it. I've said this before on this show. I like the little bit of banter between the companies. WWE doesn't seem to respond ever. That's always been their style. But I like the pot shots.
I do.
Back and forth. I wish WWE would maybe respond a little bit. And just as a side note, Penelope Ford is really an attractive woman without all of that stuff, the revealing outfits or the extra makeup. She's a beautiful person, and she's okay as she is. I don't think they need to, and I think they've listened to us because we've seen lately her wrestling matches. She's wearing a little more.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this at length, but there was a point where some of her outfits were just, holy cow, way too revealing. And I know I'm starting to sound like an old man again.
Dark Order takes on...
Not a dirty old man.
Not a dirty old man. Dark Order takes on Cardona, the Nightmare Association, and Scorpio Sky. The Dark Order controls most of this match. Colt Cabana is getting yelled at during the whole thing. You're wondering, is this when Colt kind of breaks away? I don't know. Dustin won the World Series when he won this match. You know, he's just jumping around. He's in the back putting his celebratory shirt on. He gets awarded a TNT Championship match this Wednesday. But after the match, Lee's pissed off, yells at Colt, leaves him and Evil Uno in the middle. And then Evil Uno kind of caresses Colt and they walk out together as they are like, yeah, hey, we both got our asses beat during this match and he's mad at us, so how can we finish this up?
Yeah. Evil Uno, for me, shined in this match.
Yes.
He really stood out. He was in the ring with, trying to remember whom, but he got him to chase him. I really liked this because in the beginning it was a little bit of back and forth, and both teams are making some tags. Somebody's got to do something to gain an advantage. So Evil Uno gets him to chase him around the ring and come back on his side where the guys corner him, and now it's 4-on-1 and put the boots to him. I think he did a nice job of taking the bumps and selling Evil Uno, that is. He stood out for me in this match. As for the end, I thought because we got the match coming up now with Dustin for the TNT Championship, I thought it would have ended somehow with Dustin and Brody Lee. We see them in the ring, and we see Brody Lee hit him with a lariat that would have made Stan Hansen proud. Absolutely took him out of his boots, and that was awesome. I would not expect a clean finish, but I would expect some brawling and then maybe a quick roll-up. He just won the belt, but he gets pinned. That would make more sense. But the finish includes two guys that had nothing to do with the match that was earned from the finish of this match. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think Cabana gets pinned, but Dustin – and who pinned him? Was it Cardona?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so.
But now Dustin gets a match against Brody Lee. I'm not sure how that worked. I would have liked to have seen Dustin somehow pin Brody Lee.
I thought that the Dark Order was just going to lay waste to these guys, and you get the return of Cody. One of their big pay-per-views of the year, and no Cody. Sleeping on it, I think this is great. I'm glad Cody was off the show. This is selling the injury.
Yeah.
It's going to make him come back, either challenge or get defeated again by Lee. I love this. Brandy showed up, though, which if she was beaten as bad as Cody, I think she should have also been sitting out this show as well. Her kick or her interference with Anna Jay, it did nothing to push anything along. It's just a spot in the match. I think they should have still sold the injuries. So.
Yeah. I liked it, though. It was it changed changed the direction a little bit. It changed the pace a little bit. Where Anna Jay's in the ring and is face to face with who was it? I don't remember. But then was it Dustin? I don't know. But then Brandy comes in. That was a nice moment. You're right. It was just a spot in the middle of the match. And I know you were picking on Dustin earlier, so like he won the World Series, but I love that level of selling. Like
I do too.
He's been around 32 years, 5 decades, and it's been a long time since I've challenged for gold, and it still means something to him. You get the sense, it still means something to him, and it's also personal. It's about his brother, so I like it. I like the promo afterwards. I don't think he wins. I think Brody Lee kicks his ass too.
I do too. Omega and Hangman against FTR. This is great tag team wrestling. This was an unbelievable match. I said the women were number 1. This was 1A. This was really great. My notes are, I love the double diving headbutt. They don't need to make reference. This is back on the announcers. They don't need to make reference to anybody that's ever done a move. They mentioned the Bulldogs. They mentioned the Steiners. They mentioned, Hillbilly Jim because he did a headlock. They mentioned Umaga because he's got an ass. They mentioned the Mulkeys because they were just all night. Anybody that did a move. Oh, do you remember when Tijo Khan, slapped the guy in the face? Okay. Stop a little bit. And another thing that I have written down, who the fuck was wearing bright green overalls? I don't understand.
Yeah, I didn't get that reference.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about the match and what happened afterwards, so go ahead.
I like the reference to the Steiners because that was something that they did. The Bulldog off the shoulders. But yeah, you're right. Some of the references, they start to sound like me after a while and all my long-windedness. I said I was torn between this match and the women's match, of which was my favorite. I love this match. This was really, really good tag team wrestling. I thought Paige and Omega looked like a team that was really trying to hold it together. That you could see the elements of a good team. You could see the elements of two individuals that have worked hard together that are now a team. And it just kind of fell apart for them. Shout out to Arden Tully. They won with a spike pile driver. The fact that he kicked out of that, I was like, oh, come on.
Yep.
But then they did it again. I was like, okay, so the second one won. I'm okay with that. I like Tully's work outside the ring. Didn't do a lot, but there were a few moments where he told the referee, like, speed up the count. Come on. That was 3. That sort of thing. The way he corrals his guys sometimes to talk to them. Tully's a pro. I mean, what can you say? All those years of experience. They win with the spike pile driver, and then we were talking earlier how Wednesday set up a bit of a twist here. We were all expecting Hangman Page to make the turn here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead it's Omega who just leaves him high and dry. Not just that, Page picks himself up after 2 spike pile drivers and reaches for Omega's hand, and Omega just steps out of the way, and boom. Page falls flat on his face, and Omega's like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm leaving. And he demands that the Bucks go with him. They're trying to calm him down. Hey, have a drink. Sit down for a bit. Let's talk. But he gets in his vehicle. He's got his personal driver, too.
He does.
Omega does.
John, I would be okay if we see no Elite anymore. I really would. Let everybody be their own entity.
Agree.
Page is thrown out from last week or 2 weeks ago. Omega says, that's it. You guys come with me or make sure you make it to the hotel room within, an hour or whatever. The Bucks look perplexed. I'm okay. Too many factions is too many factions. And I know the Elite isn't around all the time together. You guys are all friends. Listen, we know this, okay? It's a storyline. They're all friends. Yeah. If you see them drinking at Permane Brothers when they come to, Pittsburgh sometimes, cool. I drink with people at the Borough. I drink with, you and Pat and Jack. But we don't have to be intermingled all the time. It's okay. So let this break and let Omega go for maybe a title by himself. And not have to deal with the Young Bucks in his back pocket or everything. I like this.
Yeah, I'm okay with finally splitting them up. I think they needed to be a faction for the start of the company.
Right.
Kind of draw and create that old NWA, WCW feel, that line in the sand. These are the good guys. These are the bad guys. But we're familiar now. We're aware. It's about time they all start doing their own thing, I think.
Yeah. So, new tag team champions, FTR. They're going to have the run-in with the Bucks relatively soon. That's been teased now for a month and a half. I think that'll also be a great program for them.
I do too. I had a question for you. Is this now, is this an extension of Tully Blanchard Enterprises? Or is that closed down and this is a new company he has?
I would bet that's closed down. It was, it's been, It's not on the market anymore, so you can't buy in stocks or anything. Yeah,
so this is a new company he has.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. It's successful. He's got champions already.
He does. And I think Sean Spears is going to be a mover and a shaker soon, too.
I agree.
Next matchup is the Mimosa Mayhem match. They brought up that, we'll throw how many gallons and the shit out the board. But for weeks, all we heard is the only way you could win is getting tossed into the mimosa. Okay? Coming in now,
they did. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say.
I had heard pins, too. At one point.
Okay. Well, then I just must have missed it. Because I was going to say, why are we getting a roll-up 30 seconds into the match? That would have, boom, you win the match and there's no mimosa involved.
Right.
At one point, now I'll bitch. there was going to be 50 million gallons, and oh my God, that's just the orange juice. It looked like two wading pools. And why did we have two? Why did there need to be? So one was completely a waste. Listen, I'm sure somebody's going to bitch about it that, it wasn't orange juice in most of the guys. It was orange-colored water. It was Tang, if anything. Why did we have to have two? It seems like that was just a waste to have another one. Just have one centrally located. Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be. You're not going to have two caskets at ringside for The Undertaker, right? There's one casket. You got to take him there. Aside from that, I thought there was a lot that could go wrong with this. You notice when they slammed each other in that thing, how it looked like the pool coming apart. You know what I mean? I thought, oh my God, if this thing splashes, what are they going to do?
It looked like you built that whole stage in woodshop. It really did. No disrespect. But yeah, it was a punch. It didn't look put together. It just looked like we rolled this thing out that, somebody fabricated 3 minutes before the match. Don't breathe on it.
It worked, though. No, let's be fair, though. It worked. They did moves on it.
Yeah.
They tried to dunk each other in it. It worked. The match was entertaining. Chris Jericho's entertaining. And then that's the bottom line. It was entertainment. It was fun. There were a lot of close calls with Orange Cassidy teetering and hanging on and Jericho teetering and hanging on. And eventually it was, what the hell does he call the Superman punch? The Orange Punch, the Kool-Aid Man Punch, the Hawaiian Punch? I don't know. But he punched him and knocked him into the pool.
I think it was I think it was a little bit too up on the card. I think maybe shift 3 or 4 match. I know it's Jericho, I do, but I think this could have been a great match to switch with, the Dark Order or, something. Like this was, it was a little bit too high for me.
In theory, yes. Had they done it the way we thought, maybe somewhere aside from the ring where there's a vat, but bringing the vats to the ring, if something goes wrong, now you've got an entire card where you're fighting around Tang. So in that regard, the only thing that could go after it maybe was the main event, the championship match. So it makes sense where it was in this regard because they had two massive vats at ringside. But had they done this in another room somewhere, then have it earlier in the card again is like a little taste of what's to come. I'm with you in that regard.
Next up is Moxley against MJF. MJF, this was a great match. This was a great match. Third on the docket for me. MJF busted open. It was a slow, physical, brutal match. It ends, and then I'll let you talk. It ends by Wardlow tossing in the ring. MJF misses it. The ref is yelling at Wardlow. And this is my bitch, John. We didn't talk after the pay-per-view. You probably went to bed. I stayed up for another 4 hours doing nothing because I couldn't go to sleep. I don't like that Moxley, air quotes, needed the paradigm shift to defeat MJF. Yes, it was a cheat move. MJF was trying to cheat, but it still says he needed that, in my mind, to beat MJF. So it's an out for MJF.
Right. And that's the point. And we'll hear about it Wednesday night. I saw that finish coming during the announcements. Honest to God. I'm usually not good at this sort of thing.
You're cool.
Hey, make faces at me if you want. I guess I am. I saw this coming a mile away. I saw interference by Wardlow that gets the referee's back turned, and that's where he hits the paradigm shift. I thought there might have been kicking the nuts or something first and then the paradigm shift. But I saw absolutely the paradigm shift coming into this match. And I like what he did after the match where the ref asked him and he's kind of pantomiming, no, it was a different move that I did. The ref didn't see it, so he can't call it. But for me, it says he could have beaten him anyway. That was just the last screw you. I'm going to do this anyway. I thought the match was really good. Yeah. MJF bled like crazy. He bled twice. Did you notice that?
He did.
He was pouring blood, and then it kind of dried up, and then I don't know what happened. He was pouring blood again. I I don't know how Sylvan knows much about broken noses, but he pointed it out. He's like, Dad, his nose looks puffy. I wonder if it's broken. Yeah, MJF's nose, it looked a little, like at the top, it looked a little puffy. I wonder if he got cracked in the nose. This, I've never been in that line of work, but for me, this felt like a good initiation for someone who has a great career, a long career ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to be great. He's great now, but he's going to be really great. He's going to be one of the all-time great performers in the ring and on the mic. This was a great initiation for him to really just get the shit kicked out of him by someone who's been around for a long time. Kind of earn it a little bit, in my mind.
I like that. I like that you brought that to the table. And let's not forget that this ring that he has still, this ring can still, if they're going to play it off that the way sold it when he won it, gives him another title shot at some point. So does Mox now make it through Archer by the skin of his pants? And does MJF cash it in then? Or, is it... I'm still not sure how this freaking ring works. Can he cash it in at any point? Does it have to be a scheduled match? Like, that would be a way, boom, MJF gets the title. Mox is now in a feud with Archer because something else, and then it just kind of transitions everything, and he wins being a dick again, which is what you want MJF to be.
You combined skin of his teeth and seat of his pants and said skin of his pants, which just sounds weird.
Oh, I didn't.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, you know what I meant.
Yeah, I still knew what you meant. Of course I do. It's 30 years. Yep. Yeah, I don't know how this ring works either. I wonder if he does at some point cash that in. They haven't talked about it, really. They haven't told us what this ring means.
No. So, all right, we're an hour and 10 into, and we haven't taken a break, so let's wrap this up real quick. John, out of 6, it's a 5 for me.
Yeah, at least a 5. I was thinking maybe 5.5. I can't think of much that would make me knock it down to 5. The commentary got irritating sometimes, as we mentioned. I thought all the matches, even if they weren't what we expected or thought they should have been, were absolutely fine. I'd give it a 5.5.
Okay, yeah. I'm all right with that. Yeah, I thought you'd actually make fun of me by saying 5.5, but yeah. It was the announcers that pissed me off for the most part.
Yeah.
All right, John, I see you're wearing your normal collar and elbow shirt today, and that was just because I noticed the gray shirt and how great it looks, and Al Snow continuing to release cool things. Did you see the new fall collection that has been released? It's posted up on our Facebook page. There's some 80s style shirts. They look great.
Nice. I will have to go check that out. What are some of the 80s styles? Like who?
I don't. Thanks for throwing me under the bus. Nobody. This like paint and graffiti kind of like 80s style.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 80s styles, not like people. Yeah. Hats, hoodies, tees, shorts, they're all great. They're very comfortable. We're going to wrap this one up real quick. Use promo code CANCRUSHERS, all one word, capital C in can, capital C in Crushers. When we come back from the break, we'll be talking all WWE, Payback, Raw, and SmackDown. Man, I told you this is an action-packed show. We're well over an hour, folks.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
this is Julia Lynn, aka The Dime Piece, and you're currently listening to the Can Crushers podcast. I guess you should pay attention because, they asked me to be a part of it.
Welcome back to Can Crushers. It is I, the English professor, joined by your host, Mark Martinez. Mark, I've got myself a refill of a big-ass cup of coffee. Look at the size of this thing.
That's like a Bubba mug or something, one of those huge Jethro ones. I have switched to Powerade to get my electrolytes up a little bit because I had a couple beers last night during All Out. Nothing that we've done before, just sitting home. Chad wasn't here to pound them with me, so I kept it easy. 2 or 3, nothing bad during the whole show, which I've done 2 or 3 in 15 minutes on this show alone.
I did the same thing. I had a couple of Yinglings, but they were the 24-ounce cans, so that's like 1.5 each.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, about that. So there's like 3 beers. Yeah, well, no, it's coffee this morning.
They're 12-ounce cans, John, so it's 2 in 1.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking 16-ounce. You're right. Okay. Nonetheless, we covered AEW. How about we cover WWE? We'll go in chronological order. We'll start with the pay-per-view, which was last week, Payback.
It was. The pre-show gives us the Riot Squad versus the Iconics. It was what it was. It was a match. We get more Monday for this match again.
Yeah. The Iconics were so cool in NXT. Main brand, in my opinion, never used them properly. When they used to walk to the ring holding fingers, that was just so shitty and mean. They just had that mean girl feel about them. I thought they were very good. The main brand, they were silly. They were a little too silly.
They were great when they came up and they had their 30-second title run after they beat Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania last year. After they lost the titles, straight fire in the tank. Boom. They were absolutely done. And then the pandemic did hit them as they were off the show for months, and then they finally came back, and we'll talk about it when we get to Raw.
Yeah.
So, all right. John, this pay-per-view was a hot mess.
Yeah, spoiler, guys. We didn't love it. Riot Squad versus the Iconics. It was okay. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good 10-minute match or so. It was all right. The Riot Squad wins.
Main show starts with Bob against Cruz for the U.S. title. John, I predicted that Bob was going to win. Just maybe a change of pace with Cruz or something. Yeah, I don't care. We're not spending an hour on WWE like we just spent on AEW.
Yeah. Again, it was all right. Decent 10-minute match. I liked the submission at the end. I thought that was something different. I would be okay with seeing like Bobby Lashley use some submissions. He's just such a big, strong, punishing dude. If he added submissions to his repertoire, that might be interesting. I just don't love the guy. I've never been a fan.
I do like that the Full Nelson's coming back. When I think of the Full Nelson, Ken Patera, Billy Jack Haynes, those guys.
British Bulldog, Warlord. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that, they were bigger, stout guys. It makes sense for him. And everybody does a spear, for the love of God. Everybody, so break that up and give Bob his own thing. If he can run with his U.S. title for a while, cool. Let him decimate some people for a while. We have to move off of Cruz, though. He's been around this title for way too long. And I know we're speaking like to the back of my hand because we just had a run of Jericho and Orange Cassidy for, 16 weeks. This is where Bob needs to decimate people on a weekly show just to build his reputation back up because I'm not a fan, but he needs to be a big player in WWE.
I agree. And as far as Apollo Crews goes, he's missing something. He's missing a factor. It's just, I believe he's evidence. Nothing against the guy. He's evidence that not everybody can be a, quote, superstar. I've always been a big Tito Santana fan. Guy was a mid-carder. brilliant in the ring, brilliant. Little rough on the microphone. Not a huge star, and that's okay. The guy had a career. Apollo Crews is pretty good in the ring. Just kind of maybe lacking that charisma. Not everybody's a superstar.
Barry Horowitz said it. Barry Horowitz said it on this show that everybody can't be a superstar. You need people to lose. You need people to be the 50% guy. You know, if you have two, and I hate using this word, but it's in my head now, so it's got to come out. You have two jobbers fighting. One of them has to win. Somebody's got to take a loss. If it's Horowitz losing to Iron Mike Sharp or vice versa, it's got to happen. And this is what it is. He's a 50% guy.
Yep.
At 7:20, Roman Reigns has still not signed the contract. We don't know what the hell is going on with this triple threat match, and we still don't at the end of the show. Keith Lee talks about with JBL, and JBL given investment options. How come we don't get any of this? I'd like to invest in something.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I don't get the point of that. It just was silliness for the sake of silliness.
Yeah. Big E versus Sheamus. Big E gets a win with guts and glory and all the what's the word I'm looking for?
Pageantry?
Pageantry. He celebrated this, that, and the other. You see he's going to get a push. You see he's going to get something well-deserved. Okay. I do like the new Sheamus. I do like what they're doing with him. I think he's also going to get somewhat of a push as well. I don't know. This match was just to have a match between two guys. Really, here's a match.
Yeah, good match. Two talented guys. Didn't excite me.
No. Corbin against Riddle. Riddle gets a win. After the match, Corbin attacks
I know
him.
you hate him. I know you hate him. I really like him a lot. Matt Riddle. Neither one of us can stand King Corbin. I like Matt Riddle because I like him in the ring. I think he's a good worker. I like his character. But he is a character that can speak to the casual fan. So if my son and I are watching, we're watching, and we get it. If my wife sits down and she hears, bro, and he comes out in his sandals, kind of like bobbing his head, she gets it. She's like, oh, he's a surfer dude or something. All right, I understand. So he's got charisma and a character that appeals to the casual, to the mom who will sit down with her son and husband and watch a wrestling match. And I think he's really good. I do think he's really good. I don't know what you have against the guy. This was one of the better matches of the night, I thought.
Talking about Riddle, he is very good. He's a great worker. I don't like the surfer thing. I don't like that. And I would figure, as she now left, she went to the store, I figured Cheryl loved him. I figured this is somebody that Cheryl cuddle right. She would probably she deals with us going, bro. So Riddle probably reminds her of us.
She does like him. I'll tell you one thing that confused her, though. He's billed from where? Las Vegas?
I don't listen, John.
I think. She does. She does. She said, wouldn't it make more sense if he were from, Venice Beach or somewhere in the Florida Keys or something? You know what I mean?
You say Venice Beach, and then who do you think of right off the bat?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Hulk
Sting.
Hogan. Sting. Yeah.
Yeah, he could be from
maybe not that, but
Fort Myers, Florida, or Fort Lauderdale, something. Yeah,
something that goes more with the surfer idea. Yeah,
Hawaii. He moved to Hawaii because look, John Moxley. Yeah. John Moxley is now from Vegas via Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Too much time we spent discussing that one.
Yep. Next up, we have the Golden Role Models against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the Tag Team Championships, and this was a great match.
Yeah. This was the best match of the night. I like Shayna and Nia. I like the fact that they don't necessarily get along. We've talked about this. Shayna's a submission specialist. Nia's just a big, mean roughhouser. But on the flip side of that, you have two of the most decorated women in the company's history working together. They've been unstoppable for a while, and all four women brought it. They all did what they all do well. They all brought their own specialty to this match, but still forwarded a story. It wasn't just about, I'm good at this, you're good at that, let's make sure we all get 20 things in.
Right.
They put on a great match.
You know, I'm a huge fan of Bayley and Sasha. I almost combined them. This finish was epic. I loved where Baszler had both of them in submission holds and then uses Sasha's arm across Bayley's face to get the tap out from Bayley. I loved it.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
This just
innovative.
Forwarded more things for Friday night. I love where this is going. I do. I've been pushing for this for a while.
And what a bold move to take, as I said, two of the most decorated women, certainly the two most decorated in the company right now, have them put up a bit of a fight, but otherwise just get dominated.
Yeah.
Dominated by these two women. Good stuff.
Afterwards, they're in the ring talking or backstage. They're talking to Baszler and Jax. Shayna's all business, and Jax is just ready to go party. She's air guitaring the celebrating, running around. We're going to keep the whole World Series thing going. Woo, woo. You got me on Baszler and Jax now. I do like them.
Yeah. Nia's got a great personality, and I hope we see more of it.
John, you've always been a Nia Jax fan since we saw her against Britt Baker when Britt did a dark match, or it was actually on Raw in WWE.
It was on Raw, yeah.
Yeah, you're a huge Nia Jax fan. You really are.
I like her. She reminded me as dominant. She still does, as dominant as she is. She reminded me of Chyna. Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers, and I think she's got a great personality, as I said. I'd like to see that shine more. You mentioned how excited she was to win the tag team championship. I actually went back and watched some of her stuff on YouTube, and I saw her push, what is her name? Alicia Fox. She pushed her literally out of her shoes on Raw once. Threw her against the wall, and her shoes went flying in different directions.
I like this new Nia where, like, she's always been all business, giving us a little bit of her. Like, I think behind closed doors or whatever, I think she would be great to hang out with, a great, personality.
Sure.
I think some of that is now finally coming out of Nia. So letting her be the fun, whimsical one of this devastating team is cool.
Is there any doubt they eventually fight at some point? Not next week.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, at some point they'll lose the belts and they'll fight each other. Yeah.
It's Team Hell with Daniel Bryan and Kane, the Rock and Sock connection. We've seen this. This is just a twist,
right.
With the women now. Keith Lee against Randy Orton. Lee takes some shot. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked to see Lee go over. But later in the week, then, you know that Vince McMahon just loves him, and you're going to see a lot of Keith Lee.
Rightfully so. I was thinking we need a guy with Keith Lee's look. A lot of the guys are just ripped to shreds. They look like LJN action figures. We need a guy that's got maybe sort of a Dusty Rhodes look or more. A King Kong Bundy look, a big guy, just a big bruising guy. So I was happy to see Keith Lee win. Again, a good match, but kind of quick. When you think about some of the other matches that had more time, I would have thought they'd give these guys a little more time.
Yeah, the build-up with this having something to do, they're both in the title hunt already for Drew. This means something, but yeah. It's all on Randy. I think Randy, not saying he's done, but kind of passing that torch, giving a little bit of stroke to Keith Lee saying, look at this guy, just wipe my ass real quick. Boom. So to both of them.
Right.
Whatever. We find out that Roman still has not signed a contract. He said he would on SmackDown. God. Yeah. I at this point now I'm texting you because I'm pissed off. I saw him put pen to paper on SmackDown. Did he just draw a smiley face or what? Why are we selling this that he didn't sign the contract?
I don't get it at all. Just an opportunity for him to come out later. I don't know. I'm so tired of that whole Paul Heyman's guys coming out whenever. We'll get to that. But up next was what? Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, right? Against the Mysterios.
Yeah. I love this story. I love the story during this match of the dad protecting the son, but the son showing his worth during that, and the Mysterios get the win.
Yeah, speaking of protecting, and I said this so many times, we don't want to ruin anything. We maybe dissect a little too much once in a while. Murphy and Rollins are so good. They really are so good. I'm not a huge fan of either one necessarily, but in the ring, there's no denying how good they are. When Rey Mysterio's in there, I think you see one thing, and when Dominic was in there, you maybe see them slow down just a little bit. But, whatever. The kid still, for being brand new to the game, is unbelievable. He really is awesome.
You say he's brand new to the game, and we've bantered about this a little bit.
Right.
It's his lifestyle. Sure. His uncle, his dad, his uncles, all of this, he's grown up. So tell me he hasn't, literally born into wrestling. He's coming out fighting right off the bat.
Harry Smith had a ring in Grandpa's backyard, in Stu's backyard. Everybody got in the ring and wrestled. I'm sure he's been doing it since he was a little kid. Nevertheless, though, I mean, for just kind of getting into the ring where it's live and there are no retakes, kid is talented, really talented.
I'd like to see where he go.
I enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I did enjoy this match. I want to see where Dom's going to go. Of course, he's young. He needs to fill out a little bit more something.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see him break away from his dad at some point. I really do. I think this is going to be Ray's long in the tooth. Let's not pull any punches. I think at some point you're going to get the son against dad match as well.
Interesting. Wow. I would not expect that.
Oh.
We've seen brother against brother. I would not expect father against son. Holy cow.
Yeah, I think. And then finally we get the triple threat match. And it's announced as a triple threat match. And it's publicized as a triple threat match. And it's two triple threat match. They start the match with two people. How can it be announced if the contract...
He hasn't even signed the contract.
Right. He hasn't signed a contract. They battle everywhere. Braun and Bray battle everywhere. Halfway through the match, Roman comes out. And, John, I told you last week, I said, this is where Roman wins it. And you're like, no, not yet. Yep, yet.
I'm not a big Ole Anderson fan, but to quote Ole Anderson, this match was the shits. It was. I like Bray Wyatt.
I love Bray Wyatt.
I'm not a big fan of Braun Strowman, and I'm thoroughly disappointed in Roman Reigns. You can be a villain now. That's absolutely fine. Maybe it is. Maybe there's something behind the scenes where he can't work extensively just yet. I just don't like the come out whenever I feel like it, do a move or two and walk out. We just got rid of, we didn't just get rid of, what the hell is it?
Brock Lesnar.
We just got used to him. Yeah. We just got used to him not being around. And now you're kind of bringing back the same style. So disappointed.
I posted, I believe, Friday that Lesnar, not under contract with the WWE, but they already have a match for him at WrestleMania 37, whatever the hell one's coming up in April. Is the writing on the wall? Is the writing on the wall? Because it didn't say who, but is the writing on the wall that you get Roman Lesnar just reversing roles all over again?
The only thing that may make that interesting for me would be Heyman in a neutral corner if they were to wrestle each other, Reigns and Lesnar, if that's the idea. Heyman in a neutral corner, but then backstabs one of them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even then, I can't say I would be emotionally invested in it.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
We got the spot that we both were pissed. We sent a piss text at each other that we got the ring blow up. The ring blows up minimum twice a year now. And, all right. It was a cool spot once. You can't.
Yeah.
That's a spot that you can't have all the time. The first time it should have happened was Andre against Bundy or Andre against Stud or something.
Right.
No disrespect to some of these guys. They're not as big as either one of those two.
Yeah. Like, how shitty did they put the ring together that they made it explode, you know?
Right.
It was cool with the Big Show and whoever it was, Mark Henry, two guys pushing 500 pounds. I get it, but yeah, enough with that already. It reeks of desperation.
Yep. Well, that's payback.
2 beers for me, man.
I said
maybe 2.
I said 2.5. I gave it 2.5.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't. Again, during that pay-per-view, guys, I'll spoil it right off the bat. During that pay-per-view, I said, well, looks like we're starting with All Out next week. In a text, right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's not going to happen. So we roll over to Monday for Raw, and what do you pull from Raw? I'll tell you, let me go
That's
first.
what I'm trying to... Go ahead.
Let me go first. This whole underground thing, I know you're a huge fan of it. It only starts at 10 o'clock, but we now have Dolph Ziggler, who's kind of been a huge component of the underground, getting tap-out wins, beating people to death, He comes back to Raw now, and he gets a match against Keith Lee, and anything that Dolph Ziggler did in this match couldn't do anything to Keith Lee. And I understand, yes, they're pushing Lee, but you made Dolph Ziggler on Underground a Superman, and anything legally in the ring now that he's doing the same thing on Underground doesn't work. This is where Underground is going to bone like Eric and Ibar, or I think even the women, Jessamine Dukes and Maria Shafira. And I think Underground is going to hurt once you have to transition, because Underground's not going to last. They're not going to bring out Tuesday Night Underground and have a 2-hour show of just that. We're not covering it. I'm not watching it. This is just, I'd rather watch 3 hours of, what is it? Adrian Adonis's Flower Shop or Brother Love Show.
Holy cow.
Compared to these 15-minute conglomerates of Underground.
You said, I don't know if it was on an episode or when we talked on the phone or something, that it's just the brawl for all. Yep. Not even as interesting. Those were at least shoots. This is just Shane McMahon. I'm running around. You gotta. He's so annoying. What did I pull from Raw? The only thing that really comes to mind is, how does Lana still have a job?
Yeah.
Her husband's not on the show. I've said this so many times. The jealous, infuriated guy, and she hits on someone, so now he's got to go beat that guy up. She works in that respect. You know, I know this is old news. She's suddenly not Russian anymore. Why is she on a show?
Yeah. I don't know. 2 more things that I'll bring up as One is we get the Iconics against the Riot Squad again. The winners get a tag team match at some point. A tag team title match, not just a tag team match. They get another tag team match. You can fight anybody. No, they get a title shot, and then the losers have to break up. I think this is done right. I like it. I'm always, I've been a huge Peyton Royce fan. The Iconics shtick, as we just talked about, has lost its fire. This is, give them both fresh starts. This is perfect for them. Royce is good in the ring. Really good. I like to see what she can do.
The way Peyton was holding Billy's head at the end after they lost.
I loved it.
I have to be honest. I loved it, but it broke my heart. It really did. They made me believe they were the best of friends. And it was a little hokey the way they're crying, but they made me believe they were the best of friends. I don't know if it's true that they went to high school together and they were little girls together and everything. I believe it. And I felt for them. I hated to see them break up. But this was a tough story. Somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, and I think the Riot Squad did a nice job of being pumped up, and it felt like real sport. It felt like you want to win because there's a lot at stake, and you're relieved when you win. Hey, sorry you guys lost, but better you than us.
Let me twist this real quick. Do you think it would have made more sense as the Riot Squad just connected to say, nope, you can't. You have to start fighting each other again, because you still see some tension there. Even with the win, they kind of hugged and embraced. I think that twist would have made a little bit more sense, but I do like the breakup as well.
That's the way I thought it was going. I thought this is the point where the Iconics kind of get their act together again and go in a positive direction, and the Riot Squad goes back to fighting each other. Exactly what you said is how I thought it was going to pan out and how I hoped it did. Unfortunately, it's not what happened.
And then the triple threat.
For me, unfortunately. You kind of like this story, but I feel bad.
The triple threat main event at the end was Seth, Keith Lee, and Dominic freaking Mysterio in the title hunt, third match in. We just talked about how much, he's great, but what?
Yeah. I know. Do titles mean anything anymore? Yeah.
So, all right, that's it. SmackDown, on the other hand, I was all right. It was really all right. There's one thing. Let's just jump right into it, because that's what we both really want to talk about at SmackDown. The Golden Role Models get their rematch against Baszler and Nia, and I knew they weren't winning them back. Right. And I didn't watch it live, and you and Junkyard Dick, Pat, kind of ruined it for me when I woke up to do what I had to do yesterday morning. You didn't send a text. The idiot sent a text about saying how they're pushing the breakup real quick, so I knew something had happened. So then I continued to watch it. First of all, the match was unbelievable. I love the match. But the story then of Bayley just decimating Sasha at the end, leaving her for waste. I don't want it yet, though. I hope, and this sounds mean and callous, I hope Sasha's out for a little bit. I don't want this match at Clash of Champions. But I think it's going to happen.
I think she may be out. I don't know. I think she may be out. Was it her arm or her leg, like that she worked over with the steps and everything?
Her leg.
I think she may be out for a little bit. I don't know that we see this at Clash of Champions. What a twist, right? I mean, if you're being honest, you thought it was Sasha Banks that was going to turn on Bayley. I did. Yeah. Yeah. To your point earlier, the match itself was very good. Maybe even been better than the title change the night before.
I think so.
Because there were some imperfections, but they're so good at what they do that you don't know if that's how it was supposed to be. Like you mentioned earlier on the AEW pre-show, the guy stood on the top rope, had a cup of coffee, and then decided to jump down. We see Bayley climb the ropes and then climb down, then run to the other ropes and climb up. And they were like, there's some miscommunication there between them. but then the move still ended up working. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. You don't know if that was part of it or not, but it still worked. It still worked. I like the point where Bailey hit the belly to Bailey, communicated to Sasha that she hit the suplex. Hey, go for the pin. It showed that they knew each other really well and were working together really well, so that when you saw the turn, it was even more of a surprise. Because again, you thought these two women were back on track.
Yeah. Yeah. I did read something in it. I know this is always out there that at some point, and I know I just preface this, that at some point, Sasha says she does want to have a family. I don't think this is where she takes that break to have a family. I hope it's just a storyline thing that we don't have to wait another year before they get in the ring. But yeah, I hope they save this. The next big pay-per-view is Survivor Series, and it only makes sense for two friends to battle it out during Survivor Series.
I agree. This is bigger than Clash of Champions. This is appropriate for Survivor Series.
Yeah. Another thing I pulled out of this is Jey Uso's back. He's been lingering around. Big E gets taken out of the Fatal 4-Way match to find out who the number one contender is. Uso runs into Roman earlier in the night. Welcome back. Congratulations. I got your back. You're my homeboy. You're my cousin. Uso. All that stuff. Then he gets thrown into the main event because Heyman kind of does a little bit of a twist. Is this, after he wins the Fatal 4-Way, we're just to spoil it that fast, is this because Roman is comfortable with him to work a full match in his very first full match back?
That's probably the case. Story-wise, I don't know how it makes full sense.
No, don't read into the story.
Yeah, I'm trying to read into the story. You know, they're cousins. Is he expecting him to lie down for him? I really don't know. I thought the Fatal 4 was a good match. I'm not sure what it does for their match now, because now it was to see who faces Roman Reigns, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're saying.
At Clash, I believe.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, at Clash. Maybe it is. Maybe it's because he feels comfortable in the ring with him. I don't know really what kind of story this will tell.
Anything else that you took out of SmackDown?
Yeah, the cake that Big E had for, was it Xavier Woods?
Yeah, your cousin put some better cakes together. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah, thank you. So, who was the guy that came in and said, "Hey, Xavier Woods is here"? Is he working for Sheamus? Who the hell?
Some security guard.
Did he just lie? Was he given $20 to lie?
Probably.
If you are listening to this show and you are above the age of 8 years old and you believed for 1 second Xavier Woods was on the other side of that door and they were going to eat cake together, please don't ever listen to us again. It was so blatantly obvious.
Right.
He's like, "Hey, my man, I got cake for you. Let's have some cake. Homeboy, this and that." And door and boom. There was never a chance in hell that cake was going to be eaten.
No.
That's
yeah,
what stood out for me.
That was it. Nice spot, though, to break the car window. Man, I say this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to because we're in our 40s. I would have liked to take a spot on a car window one time between me and you. I really would have.
Yeah. That's one thing we've never done.
We had many of my beater cars that we could have just decimated at any point because they were always ready to go to the junkyard. But that's the only thing we had that we could have just, hey, me and John broke the car windshield. Probably would have been worse off than any of the recliners that you broke, but we would have got a new windshield.
Yeah. See if our buddy's got a beater that we can wrestle on.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The custom car guy.
Yeah, where can we do it? You have to come here because I doubt we'll be able to make it to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Especially if it's a beater. You don't want to drive it all the way out here. Yeah.
And then just leave it there. Sami Zayn and Hardy are going to have a ladder match. That's it. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, All right, that's Raw and SmackDown and Payback in a nutshell. A little bit of a quicker segment because WWE just didn't bring it compared to AEW this week.
They did not. I was just going to say they did not bring any real strong programming. The turn, I just want to say one other thing about that. It made me uncomfortable, which is good. I've said a number of times, it's not just about bringing smiles to faces. It's about giving someone a genuine emotional reaction. And I always go back to the fraternity beating up Britt, and it went on way too long and made us uncomfortable. What Bayley was doing to Sasha, it got to be too much, but that's the point. That's the point. I'm supposed to believe these two really loved each other, and this woman won't stop breaking her freaking limbs. That was the highlight of WWE programming for the week.
It really was. I always put in turns that there's faces or heels, and then there's completely even. You have the faces of the Rock and Roll Express, you have the heels of the Horsemen, and then you just have the Koloffs that will beat up anybody. Yeah. And now Bayley has, in my book, put herself into, she's that evil, Taskmaster, the Koloff, somebody that their group doesn't get along with anybody, and that's where Bayley's at right now.
Yep. So, well said.
All right, we're going to take a quick drink here on Can Crushers, and then we'll be back. We'll wrap the show up with NXT, and we got some mail this week, and I want to tell you guys about it, and I'm pretty pumped up because these guys did us one hell of a solid.
Hello, everyone. This is the rock god Ricky Gibson from 4 Minutes of Heat, and you are listening to the greatest podcast in professional wrestling, Can Crushers.
Welcome back to Can Crushers, listeners. So we've gone over AEW, Mark. We have gone over the WWE main brands. NXT had a pretty solid show this week, didn't they?
They really did. It was on Tuesday night, Super Tuesday or Tuesday Night Titans or whatever the hell they were calling it. This was a good show. This was a good show because of the Iron Man match. No disrespect, you knew that was going to be the focal point of the whole programming, but the undercard, as you would call it, still did bring it. And it was Legado del Fantasma that we cannot stop gushing over.
They really are awesome. I'm actually now a fan of their opponents. I've mentioned I'm a fan of Swerve Scott.
More so,
I may be jumping ship. Breezango showed me what they can do. They were just such a joke for such a long time. That tag team title match where they won the belts, that was amazing. That was a great match, and I'm on board with them now.
I am actually pissed at this match. It was a great match, but they did 2 spots that they did during the commercial break. The table spot and the triple trash compactor or whatever the hell it's called. Why were those done during the break? I don't think it was live, so to speak. So why not do filler stuff and have that be brought back? Boom, triple trash compactor, through the table as soon as you come back. To show a recap of it, it lost its worth. That this is what they did during the match.
I agree. These sorts of things, these sorts of matches, these anything goes matches, street fights, they're hard to do on a show with commercials because, they're going to break pretty often, really. And maybe you can't get away with this anymore, but what just popped into my head was Saturday night's main event, Andre and Hogan versus Stud and Bundy, when Andre and Hogan cleaned house and Stud and Bundy regrouped on the outside with Heenan. And Vince goes, "We'll be right back." And they come back and says, "You haven't missed anything. They were working out their plan." And you see Stud start to climb in the ring. A 3-minute commercial break, you could have counted to 1,000, but whatever. Stud and Bundy were just now getting back into the ring. You didn't miss anything.
But those were taped. Saturday night's main event were taped weeks ahead.
Those were taped. Yeah. Sure. And which is why I say I don't know that you can get away with that sort of thing anymore. You're taking a risk when you have this sort of match on TV because you're going to go to break and miss something exciting. It was a bummer. It was a bummer that the 2 big spots were during commercial breaks.
Swerve pins Santos. You're going to see this as a main event match at some point. You really are. The writing's on the wall. And I would imagine if anybody's taking the title from Santos, it's going to be Swerve.
Yeah. I'd be all right with that. I like him a lot.
What else did you take from NXT? I know you're a big fan of Bronson Reed.
I am not a big fan of Bronson Reed. I know I said I like some of the bigger guys. I'd like to see some of the bigger guys. I don't know his whole story. I feel like Keith Lee has really paid his dues. He's been around a long time, deserves this push. I think they're forcing Bronson Reed on us a little too much. I'm not quite ready for him. And to me, he is certainly not Keith Lee. No. And in time he may be, but don't force him on me, as much as you are. Not a big fan of his. Not yet.
All right, let's just get to the main event. It's Adam Cole, Ciampa, Finn, and Gargano in a 60-minute fatal four-way match. And, John, this is on the list, too. This is on the list.
Absolutely.
If this isn't, I would be shocked. Unless something comes up. This was innovative. You text me. They weren't laying around. They were. Yep. There was busyness the whole freaking match. And I had no clue. I did say last week that the way it ended is the way it's probably going to end to add more suspense. But I still didn't know who those two were going to be.
Yeah. Early on in the match where they all kind of, they divvied up and they fought each other and there were two guys and I texted and I said, oh, please don't let this be one of those things where those two guys are going to take a 15-minute nap. And they did it. Thank God they did it. There was that moment where I don't know who it was, but two guys were in the ring, but then eventually everybody else joined in. It just was four guys beating each other up. Innovative in-ring work, drama. It had it all. It had it all. Everybody kind of got a pin on everybody else. It was about, I want to say, the formula was in 20-minute intervals. And correct me if I'm wrong. I would say 22, 23 minutes. Someone got a pin. Later, someone else got a pin. And when I had predicted, who did I predict? I'd have to go back and I did. I predicted. Yeah. And I think he got the coup de grace towards the end. And I thought, that's it. There's 18 seconds left. Maybe he was supposed to win with less time. Go ahead.
And that's where I have to pull punches on this match. There was 18 seconds left, and oh my God, he got that nobody's ever gonna, nobody's ever gonna, nobody. They said it 17 times in 18 seconds. So that led me to believe somebody's gonna get a pin with 2.5 seconds left. And sure as shit, Adam Cole did. They oversold it.
Yeah. I still thought it was going to end where it ended because Adam Cole came in and hit something from behind. I'm not sure. Maybe a knee to the head. He knocked him out. And he was trying to roll him over, and Finn wouldn't roll over. And I thought, oh, my God, it's ticking. I wonder if he goes 1, 2, bell rings, before the 3. So that was great drama, man. That was really, really good drama. And I think if this is the route they wanted to go with no definitive winner and it's one more week of buildup, and now these two guys have to settle it. They picked the right two guys to settle this. No, nothing against Ciampa and Gargano. We've seen that program plenty of times, and it's always entertaining, and I'll watch it anytime. I'm looking forward to Finn Balor and Adam Cole.
I really am. Just a straight-up match. This, I believe it's Tuesday again, because the NBA is still doing stuff. Or I don't know what the hell is on USA, but yeah, great. This was, as of right now, this is my match of the year.
I would agree. Yep. There were some candidates this week, right? There were some candidates. It was a good week.
It really was. So, anything else otherwise it was
Shout out to Candice LeRae and Casey Catanzaro. For the little bit of time they had, they put on a nice match.
Yeah. And it's going to feed to the Tegan Candice thing that's going to go on, which I'm excited to see some of that. Other than that, as John said, great week of wrestling. We got something from every show. If it was Raw for a little bit, there was something from every show, so it fed our needs. I want to say one thing before I give you the table to wrap this up. Shout out to our boys at the Comic Book Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling. Everything has been shipped now, and I ordered the one comic book. We did the podcast with them. We worked out a deal that we're in comics from here on out and everything. When I get my package, I'm like, holy shit, what is in this? Bricks? I heard we're going to get, a couple extra things, and I'm not telling you what the couple extra things are, but I thought, okay, lo and behold, John sends us three comic books, and he's like, you guys have done us, I'm paraphrasing, you guys have done us a solid, a lot of people have said this, that, and the other about Can Crushers, so, scratch our back, we scratch yours. Here you go. So, got one for you, got one for Chad, and got one for myself now, and these are unbelievable, guys. If you've not ordered one, get there. I'll repost the thing later on this week. Order one. The stories are great. I've read some of it, and I know you read some of it when we had the digital copy as well.
Right.
But now the physical copy in my hand, I can tear up on some of the stories. I can laugh because that's just me. So shout out to John and Kevin of the Comic Book Encyclopedia of Pro Wrestling. Thank you for doing what you did for us.
Yeah, if you guys love wrestling, what I would imagine you do if you're listening to us, and you also love comic books, it's hard to describe how these guys have brought those two worlds together in a way that has integrity for both mediums, for comic books and for pro wrestling. They tell the story of these professional wrestlers through comic books, and again, maintain the integrity of a comic book, a good comic book, and of pro wrestling. It's really well done, guys. It's really, really well done.
So what do you have to bring?
I saw pay-per-view. Despite all the wrestling we watched, I caught another pay-per-view that I don't think you saw, Mark.
What is it?
It is a promotion called, let me think, AEECW. It's Sylvan's promotion, my son. He loves AEW. He actually likes ECW. So you guys maybe could talk about that sometime because I'm not a huge fan. But he loves ECW and he loves AEW. So he created All Elite Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Wow.
And he had a pay-per-view this week called Bad Blood.
So he likes Taylor Swift too. Nice.
Yeah.
But it's also Britt Baker's theme song. Right.
Yeah. Some wrestlers that are in it that you may not know. Thor is in it. Black Panther's in this promotion. The other guy from Black Panther.
Holy shit.
I think Iron Man's in it because they're like the same size as the wrestling figures. But I thought, because it's always a lot of, hey, Dad, watch this. And I'm like, okay. His opening match was for the vacant tag team championship between the Usos and Breezango. And the Usos jumped Breezango before the match. I was like, that's bullshit. Don't do that. And then I thought it was going to be a quick match. Then Breezango started coming back. Then the Usos got heat on them. Then Breezango started coming back. I was like, oh my God, I'm invested in this match between these toys. I'm like, yeah, come on, Breezango. And then the Usos pulled some underhanded crap at the end to win the vacant championship. He's gotten really good at playing with his toys. It's not just spot after spot after spot. It's hot tags, cleaning house, all the stuff we love, Mark. It was a good show.
So Jimmy's actually not hurt. He's just with Sylvan's promotion.
He's with Sylvan's promotion. The other thing I'll say, though, that I don't like is he runs his promotion like Vern Gagne. He's got a figure that's supposed to be him, and he's top billed all the time. He wins all the time. It's dusty booking. He's in every major angle.
So he's champ, right? Who do you fight?
He's champ. He's champ right now. He fought. Who the hell was the British guy that had the umbrella that tripped people? He's like a huge star in his promotion.
Jack Gallagher.
Yes, Gallagher. Yes, yeah. They put on a good match, but if you watch it, and you just know Sylvan's going to go over.
So he's going to be the longest reigning champion of life.
Yeah. That's the only down part for me.
I'm going to have to run in and make a surprise visit or something.
Yeah.
He will be so pissed. The first day I get there, I'm going to grab his figure and have, like, Lana pin him. It's official. All right. Guys, I said this probably 3 weeks ago that we're a couple weeks away from Ask Can Crushers again. I didn't look at the schedule and realize that we had 3 pay-per-views back to back. That was way too many, but you know what I'm saying. So let's shoot for in 2 weeks. Let's do Ask Can Crushers. There are some questions in the hopper, so keep sending them in. I love these shows. I really do.
I do too.
We skim over the week of wrestling, and then the 3 of us knuckleheads sit down and answer these off-the-wall questions that, I don't know. You guys are great. You guys are great. Can Crusher Nation, we love you. We love you. So send those in to, cancrusher69@gmail.com or Facebook message them or whatever. We did get, Kevin Olowitsky asked us to cover a show, so we'll have to, probably next week. I'll send it to you.
I was just going to ask about that. We should cover a show, and I was hoping somebody would recommend one. That's great.
He did. And it's a Raw. Actually, from, I think, our heyday when we were still in high school.
Fantastic.
So, other than that, John, I'm off all week, so I'm going to be cutting the grass. I might rip the carpet up and probably try to lay down this laminate flooring I have. It's going to go bad, but that's what, in video games. I am taking the week to really, and I hate to say this, decompress. Really decompress because everything is just caught up. I'm not throwing shade to anybody. I haven't had any time off in this whole COVID thing. I'm not playing it like you guys did. I didn't. Woe is me.
You need a break once in a while. Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's been a rough year for everybody, and you just need to take a breather. There's nothing wrong with that, buddy.
So that's what's going on this week for me. Video games.
Nice.
That's it. The wife is going to hate me. She is going to hate me. You? What's up with you?
I'm going to enjoy the rest of today, and I'm going to enjoy my day off tomorrow, and I don't know. That's about it, really.
Burgers and dogs tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm in my wife's makeshift office here since she's been working from home, which is the pantry, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing cans of tomato and tomato paste and flour. I may make some pizza for my family this weekend.
Damn it.
Yeah. I got to have you over for pizza. I absolutely.
It's just the distance right now and everything. Yeah. We've talked about it nonsensically since March. But we'll make it happen.
Yep.
Guys, touching on IWC Super Indie is September 12th. Soup and I will be in attendance September 19th. Guys, there's wrestling across the board, legit September 19th. Imagine's having a show in Altoona. It is feature presentation at the Brownsville Drive-In. I believe John and Sylvan are going to head to that. So, yeah, we'll have our indie stuff. We'll cover it. We'll do what we can. There's some shows that you can buy for $10 that some of the people that we know are going to be at, but wrestling's still out there. It's making a comeback. I don't want to say it's full back yet, John, but it's close.
Yeah, it was heartwarming to see some fans in attendance too, holding up signs, just dumb, funny stuff like MJF took my lunch money and stuff like that. It's good to see fans back. I miss it.
So this has been the worst year of wrestling, John, for me and you going to shows in probably 7 years. We had, and it's a pandemic wise, we have had a hell of a 7-year run of not missing anything since we started going down by Pat's house in 2020 sucks a dick. But Just remember, John, just because 2020 is trash, we can still do great things.
It's called a garbage can, not a garbage canal.